5-day racial equity challenge, day 1. Okay, first things first, we're going to ground ourselves. Remember our definition. Racial equity is proportional fairness that takes into consideration the cultural and historic realities that have beset people of color as distinct from all other people and works to remedy the same. And the definitions are super important because they help us understand why we're doing this work, right? You're not doing this work because of social justice. You're not doing this work out of a favor for me or trying to be nice to Black people. That's not it at all. We're doing this work because it's important that our country understand what it is marching toward. The demographic majority will be Blacker and browner. We might as well make sure that they are fully human, regarded as fully human. And so part of that requires understanding what happened historically to accelerate our diminishment, to make sure that we are forever excluded from the fundamentals of the economy and the fundamentals of the American dream. So we're going to talk about 3 laws. 3 laws that were promulgated in our United States that, though now are no longer laws on the books, the residue of those laws still linger. Law number 1, glasses on so I can read. The Social Security Act of 1935. Social Security Act of 1935. Read as follows. This act excluded farm workers and domestic workers who were predominantly Black from receiving old age and unemployment insurance. Although Social Security was meant to help those affected by the Great Depression, Black and white people suffered under the Great Depression, y'all. African Americans were twice as likely as average American families to face hunger during this time. 65% of African Americans were eligible to receive Social Security, but didn't. The second law, DOS. Number 2, second law, the National Housing Act of 1934. We're going to take this actually in 2 parts. Part 1, policies under this law guaranteed federally backed loans to white people and legally refused loans to Black people and anyone else who chose to live in or near Black neighborhoods. So white people could have been exempted from this too if they live close to Black people. This practice, known as redlining, targeted entire Black neighborhoods and identified them as grade D. This made it nearly impossible for appraisers in the private sector to do business in Black neighborhoods because all of the residents were considered bad credit risks. All of the residents. Okay, and our last and final law that we're going to dissect today is the same law, but just another part of it. So the National Housing Act of 1934, Part 2, since the legislation prevented Black people from receiving federally backed home mortgages, white people usually purchased homes in Black neighborhoods and then sold housing contracts to Black people who wanted to become homeowners. What? Often for 2 or 3 times the amount of the mortgage. These contracts guaranteed Black families the right to their home only after all payments were complete and satisfied. Missing even one payment or being late even on one payment could result in that Black family losing their house immediately. Okay, ladies, so these are 3 of many laws that have been on the books for a very long time. And I'm hoping you can understand the residual impact, economic impact, the evisceration on Black wealth, on Black economic mobility, on Black people being able to attain and realize mobility in general in terms of how we move through our careers, move through our lives, the value that's assigned to when and where we land, when and where we live. So when we think about redlining, I want you to understand actually the history of redlining, what exactly has happened, what happened then, and what continues to happen today. So these 3 laws, not 6, these 3 laws, I want you to keep re-watching this video and understanding how to talk about them Practice talking about them today with your friends and your family. Hey, did you know anything about the Social Security Act of 1934 that actually black and brown people were not at all allowed to be a part of it? Hey, I know you heard about redlining, but you do understand what exactly that means in terms of what's now left over for them to have to manage? And that, ladies and gentlemen, mostly ladies, concludes day 1, 5-day racial equity challenge. See you tomorrow.